This is nScreenNoise. My name is Colin Dixon, founder and chief analyst at nScreen Media, and today is May 15th, 2015. We haven't heard a lot about the progress in Hulu's business in a while. We've heard lots, of course, about the content deals, but not much about how they're doing business-wise. And Mike Hopkins, the CEO of the company, put this right in the last couple of weeks, providing lots of information, including progress in subscribers, which has been pretty impressive over the last year, growing 50% to 9 million. That's an 80% increase since December of 2013. That means the company's earning about $900 million a year now from license revenue. What about total revenue? Well, he wasn't talking total revenue, but we can look back to some numbers that they gave out a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago, that said ad revenue was about 60% of the total revenue picture for Hulu. So that means if that still holds true, Hulu is about a $3 billion revenue company, which is, again, pretty impressive progress from where they were 18 months ago, where they were just a $1 billion company. So that's really, really good progress. And to put that in context a little bit, Netflix is earning about $5.5 billion. They earned $5.5 billion last year in 2014. So they're really beginning to get comparable with Netflix, and that shows the power of the ad model along with the license revenue really does help lift revenue pretty dramatically. Now, what does that really mean in terms of usage of the service? Well, Mr. Hopkins actually gave us an update on that. He said that there was a 77% increase in streams delivered and an 83% increase in overall hours. What does that mean on the individual? Well, individuals are watching for about 30% longer. He didn't give us much of an indication on how many actual minutes people were spending with the service, but we can look to Netflix again for some guidance there. Netflix is what each individual Netflix user, that's user not subscriber, is watching for about 44 minutes a day, something like a show a day. And in fact, the overall number is 1.5 hours per subscriber, but compensating for the number of people in a household, that gets you to about 44 minutes, something like that. So Hulu probably isn't, the average Hulu user probably isn't watching for longer than that. So it's somewhere in that bounds, probably somewhere in the 30 minute range, something like that. Distribution. Also, we got a good update on distribution from Mr. Hopkins. He said that the company has signed deals to appear on operator set-top boxes now with 5 pay TV operators, including Cablevision, Armstrong, Atlantic Broadband, Mediacom Communications, Mid-Continental Communications, and Wide Open West. In addition to that, they've just announced a deal with AT&T. And in fact, this deal will see Hulu being promoted on browsers through the broadband and on handsets in the mobile network. And they are apparently working on a deal for pay television, although nothing is announced yet on integration onto the Uverse set-top boxes, although I suspect that might be coming pretty soon. Now, I was pretty interested in this announcement, and I asked Tim Connolly, who is SVP of Distribution for Hulu, about how this integration actually works. And he said that they will do integration of the client onto the set-top box, but that when consumers opt to watch video through Hulu, that will actually be streamed from Hulu itself online. Why is that important? Well, it means that this has to be a hybrid set-top box. And unfortunately, there are not many of those in operator networks today. The majority of the hybrid set-top boxes are actually the DVRs. So we're talking about integration onto the DVRs. So that means the reach is not as good as we would have hoped. It's not to all of the subscribers, except in the Cablevision case. Cablevision uses Active Video Networks as their main provider, a technology provider for delivery of video to the home. And using Active Video means that it's easy to integrate the Hulu client and deliver it to every set-top box in their network, so they get complete coverage with Cablevision. So anyway, things are definitely looking up for distribution. However, there is a fly in the ointment. And that fly in the ointment is how the affiliates of NBC, ABC and Fox are feeling about this integration onto the set-top box. Unlike Netflix, which focuses primarily on library content, not on the most recent content, Hulu is very focused on that most recent content, as typified by their deal for Empire. Show episodes are available on Hulu very soon after they are first broadcast, and the whole last season is also available on Hulu. And so that's true for some other series as well with Hulu from those other providers. So this acts to marginalize a little bit the value of the affiliates broadcast of the shows. So I got to believe that they aren't very pleased about the deal putting Hulu on the set-top box where they sort of reign king, I guess. But I expect them to be very angry when this shows up on Comcast set-top boxes. Of course, there hasn't been any announcement of this happening, but I think it's pretty likely that Comcast is thinking about doing this, bearing in mind other operators are doing it, and that Comcast is a direct investor in Hulu. So, be interesting to see if that announcement is forthcoming from Comcast and what broadcasters say about it when it does. And you can bet that we'll be reporting it here on nScreen Media if there's any news to report. We'll see you again next time.